Welcome to Learn or Be Learned. This is the podcast show where I read books and show how you can apply it to your life. And, like a true anthropologist, I dig up stories on what people are up to and how that can impact you as well. I'm your host, Shiva Danashekar. This is episode 11, and let's talk. All right, so I'm here with Solomon. Solomon and I did debate back in high school a long time ago. How are you doing, Solomon?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a couple of years of, debate in high school.
Yeah. So you contacted me and you were telling me about this whole Spikeball thing. I'm pretty intrigued. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so don't tell my parents this. Part of the reason I ended up going to BYU over some of the other colleges I got into was because Utah has a very devoted Spikeball scene, which is something I very much enjoy. So they have actually the number 5 team in the world there called Spikers Anonymous, and I started playing with them, probably a couple times a week.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I traveled to tournaments all across the nation.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm really into it.
So what exactly is Spikeball?
Okay, so Spikeball is, it's a fairly new sport. The actual name is RoundNet. The Spikeball is the brand that produces the equipment. But you've probably seen it. It's like a circular trampoline looking thing. You got 2 teams of 2, and one team serves the ball off the net, and then the other team has 3 touches, like in volleyball, to spike it back off the net.
So how big is this trampoline? It's like one of those mini ones?
Yeah, it's probably about 2 feet in diameter.
Yeah. So what are the point systems like?
Yeah, so one team will serve, and then the first team that doesn't spike it back off the net, like if they hit a rim or just don't hit the net at all, that's going to be the other team's point.
Okay. So, yeah, how do you qualify to go to tournaments and stuff?
So it depends on what division you want to enter. They've got a couple different open divisions, intermediate and advanced. And then by placing top 2 in advanced, you qualify for the Premier Division, which is the one I play in.
Okay.
I think there's currently 240 Premier players in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you get like recognition? Do you get money for this? Or
you can get money for winning the top division. So for Premier, I'm not good enough to be winning those tournaments yet. But so they just announced the SRA, which is the Spikeball RoundNet Association, the one that runs all the main tournaments. Just announced the schedule and the prize schedules for next year, and they're going to be averaging, I think, $5,000 in prizes per tournament next year. So it's not like a professional sport yet, but
it's very niche.
That's where they're going. That's what they're trying to get to. We'll see what happens.
That's pretty cool. So you told me that you do a little bit of podcasting yourself.
I do a little bit.
And you said it's mostly about Spikeball?
It is, yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys talk about?
So we've got, it's almost a niche within a niche. So we like to, text top players from across the country. We've, me and my co-host who lives in Virginia, actually. And so we just recently recorded a podcast with Preston Bias, who's arguably the number 1 player in the world, who lives in Santa Barbara, California.
Oh, wow.
And we had 3 different segments. One where he ranked his top 10 players of the 2020 season. One where we just asked him random questions, including his favorite cereal. That's
what is that?
we like to have some fun ones. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, interesting.
Has been
I like that one.
The clear and away winner so far. And then one other segment where he kind of just, we call it Haters Gonna Hate, and we give him 5 to 6 players, and he just gets to talk trash on them. Tell why he thinks they're absolutely terrible.
It's like a roast fest.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have some fun segments like that. We put it out there, and a decent amount of people like it. So
wow, that's pretty cool. That's like like you said, a niche within a niche.
For sure.
So what would you recommend for someone who wants to try this out, like that's never played or who wants to get into the real deal?
Yeah, so if you're just wanting to play, there's actually a Spikeball app where people who are like playing pickup or just want a couple people to play with can post on there, and it'll show for 40 miles around them, and anybody who wants to can just RSVP on the app and show up to wherever they're playing. If you want to enter a tournament, there's a couple places you can go. I actually intern for the guy who runs tournaments in Utah called the Utah RoundNet Association. Check us out.
I'll put in the link.
yeah, for sure. But it's just Utah RoundNet. Just look it up, and we'll be like the number 1 result on Google. And then also there's SRA tournaments. And if you've never played before, you probably want to enter intermediate. If you're wanting to, grind, get really good serves, all that, enter advanced and try and qualify for premier.
So someone who's, wants to start actually doing this, do you just need a team of 2 to 4, or do you need to be affiliated with the university to do this?
So if you want to play college RoundNet, you're going to have to be affiliated with the university. But if you just want to do you would say the open or the pro division, you don't need to be affiliated with a group, but in order to get good enough, obviously you're going to be needing to play with some pretty good players. So hopefully you've got a group around you of people who are invested and want to practice and get the skills.
Is there a league after college, or is college like...
No, there is. So college is probably the second biggest scene right now. The biggest one are the tournaments I was saying, the SRA tournaments. That culminate in nationals at the end of the year, and in 2021, it got rescheduled from 2020. Yeah. But 2021 will be the first ever Worlds tournament. They're hosting it in Belgium. Want to go? It's going to be a lot of money though, so we'll see what happens. But they're going to have the first tournament ever for Worlds. And there's going to be, Australia, almost all the countries in Europe, Canada, and the US will all be there. So
I feel like I got to check this out on YouTube or something.
There's some stuff on YouTube for sure.
Sounds pretty intense, like fast paced.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you look up the highlight videos, there's a lot of one thing that a lot of people who haven't played Spikeball before don't realize is that serves are a very big part of it. A lot of people just boop the ball on so they can do rallies and stuff. But once you get nerdy enough about it, there's a lot of different ways you can put spin on the ball so it'll hit the net and jump off at different angles. And so, there's a lot of different things you can do with that.
Sounds like tennis.
Look silly. Kind of like that. Or I would say almost even more like ping pong, because you can put even more spin on the ball in there. It'll jump off the table at crazy angles. So it's a lot like that.
Interesting. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
What is some crazy stories? Do you have any crazy stories about your tournaments or something? Practice?
I would say a couple of the coolest ones. In practice, one of the craziest but also sad stories is, like I said, I practice with the number 5 team. I am 2-76 against them all time in pickup. They've beaten me 76 out of 78 times. So they're pretty good. But outside of tournaments, it's just really fun to travel. And you can almost always, hit somebody up, so you don't have to stay in a hotel. They'll have somewhere for you to stay and everything. But I've been in South Carolina, Michigan, Dallas, California, Utah, and...
You go to Atlanta?
I just was in Atlanta, actually.
Oh, really?
For Co-Ed Nationals happened there 2 weeks ago now, actually.
Okay.
I got 6th. It was really fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So how do you practice? Is it 2v2? Is this
It is 2v2.
Okay, so do you have teams that are larger than that?
So to practice, if you're just on your own, you're probably going to be practicing serves, because that's the main thing you can do by yourself. Then, skills like setting, finishing. So it's like a lot of people do overhand slams, but once you get up more advanced, you'll mainly do low finishes so that it's harder for the defense to get them. So you can practice those by yourself. But then the best way to practice is, I would say, playing pickup with other good players. That way you can practice, receiving all those crazy serves and spins they throw at you. So I'd say to practice, it's best to have 4 people so you can, mix it up.
Are there singles?
There's not singles, Okay. The main format is 2v2.
Okay, so this is a big team sport. You have to find the right partner.
I would say chemistry is very underrated. You need to have good chemistry with your partner so you can do well, beat top teams, etc.
So this sounds like a double sport where communication is huge, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So is there any words or lingo that only Spikeball people use in their doubles?
There's a decent amount of that. A lot of it is serve names. So there's the fuego, which is basically you hit it with your right hand to the opponent's left hand by leaning over and doing this weird motion. There's drop serve, cut serve, reverse cut.
Oh wow.
So there's a lot of different names for it. If you're interested in learning into that, anybody listening, How to RoundNet on YouTube. It has 10,000 subscribers, and it's just them going through slow-mos of videos showing you how to do all this different stuff. And then I would say the biggest strategy thing is defense, because obviously you can hit it anywhere off the net. So you have to coordinate with your partner, who's covering short, who's covering long, reading the set so that you know which direction they're going to hit it, all that.
So I guess a couple more questions on the logistics. How long does the game usually last?
So it goes to 21.
Okay. And each one is just 1 point.
Yeah. And you have to win by 2. So if it's a fairly competitive game, I would say about 30 minutes.
Okay. And what about so this is obviously a trampoline, so there's a radius. So do you only get you only get to work with half the side of that trampoline, or do you get full 360?
So you start in positions where you're adjacent to your partner, and then the other 2 are across from you guys. But after the serve, the team that's spiking the ball off the net can hit it in any 360 degrees.
You ever see any dirty plays? Or
yeah, I get my ankles so broken a lot on defense.
Oh wow,
it's very tough because there's a lot of different ways your wrist can move. So they can push it straight forward. They can flick their hand backwards, so it'll go the direct opposite of where you think they're going to hit it. A lot of stuff like that. So yeah, hitting can be very varied.
What is considered an illegal move?
An illegal move would be a screen in basketball, where you screen the other players so they can't move to your partner. You can't do that.
Okay.
In fact, if you do that, it's a replay of the point. Or if it's clear that you did it on purpose, then you lose.
So that's the only illegal move in the game?
Obviously, you can't hit the ball off the rim. You can't touch the set ever.
Okay.
The ball hits the set, but if you hit the set, that's a loss of point.
And you get 3 rallies.
3 touches of the ball before you hit it off the net again.
Each person gets 3, or as a team?
Per team. And then, I guess you also can't hit it yourself twice in a row.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like I like to say it's like volleyball, except you're hitting the ball off the net instead of over the net.
Okay, so how did you said partially you went to BYU to pursue this, so you started doing this in high school?
Yeah, so my last semester of high school, I got into it with some friends. And we were just playing, having fun. And then I was like, this is pretty fun. I looked it up and I was like, whoa, there's tournaments for this. Yeah. And I found out there was one in Dallas, which is 5 hours away by car. And so I was like, whatever, I'll go. Just try it out. And I did. And I was like, that was really fun. Yeah. And I just stayed with some random people I'd never met before.
Oh, wow.
And they were super nice, fetish breakfast, all that. I was like, this is really dope.
Yeah.
So then I played, I think, 3 more tournaments that summer in Dallas. Then we drove to Michigan. Don't do that. It's 14 hours both ways. In South Carolina, I qualified for Premier, which is the top division. So that was really exciting. Yeah. And I just kind of went off from there.
That's crazy because I never even heard of Spikeball, to be honest. Yeah. Is it still fairly new?
I would say it's fairly new. Spikeball, the company, was only founded in 2008.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The game itself, I believe, was invented in the 1990s. But the guy who invented it wasn't able to, market it effectively enough to really get it started. So a new guy, his patent lapsed or whatever, and a new guy got it, did a much better job marketing it. He went on Shark Tank, actually.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to market.
Exactly. So a lot of people saw it from there, and it's kind of exploded since then. I think they've doubled their revenue for the last 10 years straight.
You think this is going to be bigger over time, or you think it's going to be a niche sport type thing?
I feel like it'll always probably be somewhat of a niche sport, but I think the way they're trying to build it, it'll definitely get bigger. I know in Utah, at least, the guy I interned for, he's got a whole high school scene set up for it. Okay. Utah actually has the #1 high school team in the nation. And so I think if you do it like that, and if they build the college scene up enough to I don't know, if they're giving out scholarships at some schools for it, I could see it getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, because it doesn't sound like it takes a lot to,
get
build
into
one of these things. So you do this outdoors?
Yes, for the most part. There are some tournaments that are indoors, but there's normally smaller during the winter, off-season tournaments.
So I was wondering, is there a female division, male division, or is this a mixed sport?
Yeah, so there's set divisions. So intermediate, advanced, and premier, those are open, but the majority of the people are going to be men's. There's a separate women's division, women's advanced and intermediate. I think only, I want to say 6 women have ever qualified for premier for that top open division.
Wow.
And there's only one girl right now who's probably in the top 100 of overall open players.
Wow.
She's very good, though.
Mm-hmm. You know her?
Yeah, her name's Olivia Jenkins.
Oh, okay.
She's from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Just really dirty. Right? She can serve right-handed, left-handed. But I might have beaten her in one tournament, so I got lucky that game. But yeah.
Drop that in there.
Just drop it in there. I beat the number one girls player. She'd probably beat me if we played again. Yeah. But yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. This is a cool, like, you hit me up and you're like, yo, I was like, oh, what have you been up to? You're like, well, I play Spikeball. And I was like, I don't even know what that is.
It's become a weirdly large part of my life.
Yeah. So how long do you play or practice?
So while I've been home in Arkansas, all I've really been able to do are like serves and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably do an hour to an hour and a half of just serves a day. It's like 300 or so serves a day. And then when I'm in Utah and I'm playing pickup, probably do 2 to 3 hours, 5 times a week. So,
this is obviously a sport. So is there any other benefits to training in other kinds of ways, maybe agility or something? Do you train?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously you want to be, not overly chubby or whatever, so that you can be quick, run down balls. It gives you better mobility around the net. So if the set is like a little off, you can jump for it and finish.
Yeah.
Then I would say strength training is good, just like lifting weights and stuff, because if you can hit the ball harder, it's a lot harder to react and get the up on defense or even just off of the serve. But yeah, I say being in good physical shape is the first way to go from there.
Sounds like a wingspan would be a really important
wingspan is so nice. Unfortunately, I don't have that. But yeah, a couple of the guys I play with they're like 6'4", 6'5", and their wingspans are like 6'8". Yeah. Just like it's so hard to get an ace on them because they can always just reach out and be like, oh yeah, I got that one. I got that one.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, short guys have a little bit of an advantage to the point where like. On serves, there are these things called pockets where it'll hit the net and the trajectory will change based off how the net is tightened or whatever. And that's illegal. And so on a short guy, it becomes much more apparent because it'll pop up to their head versus if the guy's 6'5", it's going to be at his shoulders and it's probably a fine serve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say the number one player up until the last year and a half he's only 5'6".
Oh, wow.
But that's fairly rare.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know if you watch baseball, but Jose Altuve for the Astros, he's like 5'6". He's like really good, but really rare. So.
How many games have you guys won? And like how many tournaments have you really gone to?
So this season, it got kind of cut short from COVID, which, is fair. Just kind of sad. Recently, I went to co-ed nationals where I got 6th. So that was really fun.
That was in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it was in Atlanta. One of my better performances probably. Played with a girl not many people had heard of, and we surprised some people for sure. Other than that, we had one that was supposed to be December 19th in Pennsylvania, but that got canceled because it was indoors, and Pennsylvania cracked down the week before. Hopefully that gets rescheduled and I'll be able to go.
So you said you traveled all over the country. So I was wondering, where which locations have really active Spikeball users and where do you not really see it being prominent yet?
Yeah, for sure. I would say Utah's the most concentrated community in that if you go, you'll see people playing pretty much all the time. California has a lot of really good players. The beaches probably are nice for it. Chicago is where the company is, so it's got a decent community there. And then Pennsylvania, I would say, is very big as well. Other than that, there's communities all over, but it's the rarest in Nebraska, Missouri. It's very rare here. I'm pretty much the only player in all of Arkansas.
Therefore, best player in Arkansas.
that's what I'm saying. But yeah, those 4 states are probably the biggest.
So I guess lastly, I want to ask, what has Spikeball helped you or taught you? What kind of value has it brought to you?
I would say the first thing that got me into it was just it's a new sport. That means I can be really good at it. So that was really fun. And then past that, I'd say the thing that's most special about it is honestly the people in the community for it. Because like I said, I have never paid for a hotel while going to a Spikeball tournament. Wow. There's always someone there who's got, an extra bed, a couch for you to sleep on. They're probably going to buy you breakfast. Yeah, it's just the people are amazing, and through those people, I've actually had a lot of really cool like opportunities to grow. Like I said, I interned for the guy who runs tournaments in Utah, and so I'm an accounting major, and that's been helping me learn a lot about business, how he does it. I'm running projections for him for the 2021 year, all of that kind of stuff. And I would just say, like again, like the people in it and the things you can gain from that are really, really cool.
Sounds like it's like truly engulfed your life in a lot of ways.
A lot, yeah. I would say a surprising amount of my time is either spent with people from Spikeball or directly playing Spikeball.
So someone who's, you know, a freshman about to go to college who's like intrigued by this, right? And they want to learn more, they want to do this. Was Spikeball listed in the university website, or how did they find out, like, does my university do this?
You can definitely look at the list of clubs that your university have. They'll definitely have Spikeball as one of the clubs. I think just about all of them have at least a club. Beyond that, there's a lot of Instagram accounts for it. So like there's the BYU RoundNet or Spikeball like Instagram. Then there's like Ohio State's really good, Cal Poly's really good, UCLA, a bunch of there's a lot of different universities. And then lastly, I would say you can join like the Spikeball RoundNet Association Facebook group, which is pretty much all competitive players are in that group. So if you post about, hey, I'm going to so-and-so college, are there people who play here? You'll have some people comment to be like, yeah, for sure, we got people who play here now and then.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, if you're in Utah or around Utah, we got tournaments at utahroundnet.com.
I will put those links in the episode, and I will also include your podcast in case people are interested.
Yeah, if anybody ever wants to check it out, we have a lot of fun on there. It's pretty funny. We're laughing a lot. It's called Around the Realm. You can find us on Spotify and Apple.
Yeah. Okay, well, Solomon, I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me, man.
Yeah, dude, it's been a good time.
Yeah.